Education Foundation in the Pakistan is the biggest organization, especially working with the private-public partnership. In recent past years, for private partners and individuals partners are like organizations like Szabist that play a vital role, especially the significance for the change of the quality of the education. प्राइवेट पब्लिक पार्टनरशिप जो संजय एजुकेशन फाउंडेशन काम कर रही है और उसमें आई थिंक दैट पाकिस्तान के अंदर ये संजय एजुकेशन फाउंडेशन वाहिद लीडिंग फाउंडेशन है जो इस पार्टनरशिप को एंगेज किया उनको 30 ईयर्स हो गए और उसमें हमारे पास इंडिविजुअल भी हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन भी हैं और डेफिनेटली ये जो हमारा प्राइवेट पब्लिक पार्टनरशिप है स्पेशली तो फिल एजुकेशन गैप सप्लाई एंड डिमांड जो एजुकेशन का गैप है वो प्राइवेट पब्लिक पार्टनरशिप के साथ हम फिल कर रहे हैं और उसमें ये मेन जो किरदार है स्पेशली जो सिंध गवर्नमेंट के जो वहाँ अंडर प्रिविलेज एरियाज हैं जहाँ हमारे पास एजुकेशन की जो है वो एक्सेस नहीं है वहाँ प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप के साथ एक सिग्निफिकेंट हम चेंज लेके आ सकते हैं उसमें अभी जो हमारे पास तकरीबन प्राइवेट पब्लिक पार्टनरशिप के साथ नियर अबाउट 3000 स्कूल्स जो है वो रन कर रहे हैं उसमें ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस भी हैं इंडिविजुअल्स भी हैं और उसमें जो गैप जो है वो सिग्निफिकेंटली वो फिल भी हो रहा है या उसका रिजल्ट भी मिल रहा है और उसमें मोर अभी उसके अंदर जो है ना गवर्नमेंट भी सपोर्ट कर रही है उससे एजुकेशन फाउंडेशन और इन पाकिस्तान अभी दूसरे भी फाउंडेशन के स्कूल जो है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हैं वो भी सिंध एजुकेशन फाउंडेशन की प्राइवेट पब्लिक पार्टनरशिप को इफेक्टिव नमूने को है वो फॉलो कर रहे हैं और आई feel that the education foundation and like other organizations, especially to engage the private partnership, will play a big role for the quality of education, where there is the need of the access of the education and there is the dire need, especially underprivileged Arab in Pakistan.
Thank you so much, sir. My fourth panelist and a very interesting topic that you're going to be talking about today is technology as an intervention for transformation in education. And we are all really interested to know this because technology is where the world is headed now, and everything that we are doing now is ruled by technology. So I want to ask you, Ms. Sabahar, that what role can technology play in transforming education here for us in Sindh?
Thank you, Sania. Thank you first of all for calling me on the panel. A lot of questions about technology have also been answered by Saab and by Jima Saab and Dr. Dar. But I think we consider technology an alien thing, right? We don't think of it as something that is part of our normal life, which is why it's not as transformative as it should be. But we've seen recently, during the pandemic, how everyone turned to technology to solve basic problems. Like the fact that you couldn't go to school, so school came to you. And that by itself is hugely transformative if we think about it, because if you can't go to school and school can come to you, then you're no longer stuck in a box. It's no longer about the routine of going to a building or going to a classroom or being, in this grade or in this level or in this subject. You have the opportunity to learn anywhere, anytime, at your own pace, without any kind of intervention at all, or with multiple kinds of intervention, because your teacher can talk to you on the phone, on video conference, on WhatsApp, which is an extremely popular tool. And I don't think that we take enough advantage of that fact, of rethinking the model of schooling, because the model of schooling that exists here and it exists all over the world actually is the industrial age model, right? It's the model where they needed assembly line workers, they needed discipline, they needed kids to understand that this is the process of manufacturing, so that's what they taught them. But that doesn't apply anymore, because in the workplace now, as well, it's not even a future thing. I work remotely. My office is in Islamabad, and we have 4 or 5 people in Karachi, and from morning to evening we use every channel available to us, and I've been doing it for 2.5 years. So now, when we hire as well, we're not saying you must be in Islamabad, you could be anywhere in the world. And that is the new reality. It is not that you must come to an office, that you must work, because this is no longer factory conditions. This is now all about the mind, and the mind can happen from anywhere. And that's a transformation that has already arrived in a lot of places in the world. In Pakistan, it came here for COVID and has disappeared because we are not taking advantage of it. So the how is one of the first ways that technology can and will transform education. The other thing is obviously what, which everyone was talking about, the 21st century skills. The reason that we have 21st century skills, or there's so much emphasis on that, is because technology has given you access to information. It's giving you knowledge. So knowledge acquisition, which was a key role in schools, is no longer their responsibility. It is not a role in schools anymore, because anyone who has any kind of device and an internet connection can find out about anything in the world. So what is the role of schools then? The role of schools is about teaching them what to do with that knowledge. It's not about acquiring the knowledge anymore. So even your assessments need to change, because they need to be, again, no longer about knowledge, but what they do with knowledge. Which means that you assess them not on, okay, how tall are palm trees, but you tell them, okay, what happens when the soil factor changes, or when they don't get water, when they get too much water, or when the weather changes, the climate affects them. You give them scenarios that make them think. And I think that's something that technology has done already, and again, we haven't capitalized on it.
Yes. All right. So I'm wondering, like, we're talking about and having this discussion, is that how much access do we have to technology in terms of getting into the grassroots level? I think that's one of the major issues. And so can you comment a little bit about that?
So obviously access is a huge issue. Internet, we don't have the infrastructure in Pakistan. The number of people who have it are mostly focused in urban centers, but there is a push to expand that, to make it available to a lot more people. And it will move faster than we realize, because mobile technology, for example, has spread incredibly fast, right? At least, I don't know the exact figures, but there's a huge population in Pakistan that has a phone. They will have a cell phone. They may not have a smartphone. Only about 10% of your mobile users will actually have a smartphone. But that number is obviously going to increase. And as that increases and it becomes cheaper, then technology is going to, it's going to spread. Obviously, it's going to take a while. But we need to stop thinking of technology as computers, right? It's not just computers, it's mobile phones as well. And the devices are getting smaller. The technology is also other things. It's robotics. It's anything that allows you to do something that's not analog, basically. It's digital stuff. So that kind of thing needs to be an effort and a push by government. Until the government gets involved, and until the government actually makes that effort, that your internet connectivity or your bandwidth reaches the remotest areas and the poorest areas, and it's accessible not just in terms of reach, but also affordability. If they don't have the money, they can't buy it, then it doesn't matter where it is. So that's something that, instead of focusing on building the buildings for schools, if they focused on this, I think this would make a huge amount of difference.
Okay, great. All right, so I just, another question, quick one to you, is that how do we have any assessment that can be linked, or do we have any tools in technology that can be linked to assessment and make our assessment better? Like gamification is one thing that is like really high, better keyword and a buzzword nowadays in technology and education.
So there are actually two things. There's gamification and there's game-based learning.
Yes, and they're different.
Game-based learning is actually creating games that teach you while you play games, and that's a great way to assess kids. And it's a great way to teach kids, or teach anyone actually, even adults who enjoy playing games. I love playing video games. For them as well, the amount of learning that you get is it's much more effective, because one, especially with role-playing games, you are seeing it in scenarios and not as dry text or dry facts that have no context. So context is something that you can relay very easily, and because it's fun, there's no stress of learning. And that's also very important, and it's something we learn to do. Gamification is using the structure of a game, which is quick rewards, returns, and short goals. And like they give you coins or something like that. They have a leaderboard. That kind of thing is gamification, and you can do that in an analog situation as well. It doesn't have to be digital system.
All right. Thank you so much. Do we have more time for a second round of questions? Okay. All right.